If you choose the second or the first or the third, so they don't make any difference because the actual content of that third answer or the fourth answer, that will make the difference. If the person gets 10 marks, then it means that the person is absolutely good in singing. So this is a very convenient scale where we can use all the statistical techniques to calculate the inference of the findings. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. I welcome you all to this session. In this Unit 3, Session 1, let us have a discussion on the scales of measurement. So what are the different scales of measurement here? The first one is the nominal scale, second one is the ordinal scale, third one is the interval scale, and fourth one is the ratio scale. So there are 4 scales of measurement here. So the scaling techniques: paired comparison method, rank order method, constant sum, semantic differential, itemized ratings like Likert scale, questionnaire form and design. So all this will be the part of this session of this chapter, that is Unit 3. Now first let us look into the various levels of measurement. There are 4 different scales of measurement. The data can be defined as being any one of the 4 scales. The 4 type of scales are the nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale and the ratio scale. Now in this, let us look into what is the nominal scale. The nominal scale is the first level of the measurement scale in which the numbers serve as tags or labels to classify or identify the objects. So here in the nominal scale, this is the first level of the measurement where the numbers serve as tags or the labels. A nominal scale usually deals with non-numeric variables or the numbers that do not have any value. So a nominal scale is they just assign the numbers, but the numbers don't have any value. For example, you have 1, 2, 3 or 4 options, and then in this 1, 2, 3, 4, the numbers don't have value, but they are just used as numbers for the purpose of the answer. So if you answer 4, it means that for whatever the answer is mentioned in option 4, that becomes the correct answer to that particular question. So these numbers are used as just tags. So they don't carry any value. So such numbers we call it as the nominal scale. Then the characteristics of nominal scale. The nominal scale variable is classified into 2 or more categories. In this measurement mechanism, the answer should fall into either of the classes. It is qualitative and the numbers used here are to identify the objects. So this is in the nominal scale, it is qualitative in nature and the numbers used here to identify the objects. The numbers don't define the object characteristic. The only permissible aspect of the numbers in the nominal scale is counting. So the numbers, so whether you, for example, if you have a question with 4 options, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, if you choose the second or the first or the third, so they don't make any difference because the actual content of that third answer or the fourth answer, that will make the difference. The numbers don't define the object characteristics. The only permissible aspect of the numbers in the nominal scale is counting. So you, instead of the only nominal aspect is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 options. So the 4 answers, so you can just count them, that's all. So these numbers don't have any values. Then an example of nominal scale measurement is given below. So if you ask anybody what is your gender, the answer may be male or female. Here the variables are used as tags and the answer should be either male or female, that is M or F. Then next we have the ordinal scale. The ordinal scale is the second level of management. that reports the ordering and ranking of data without establishing the degree of variation between them. So, here it reports the ordering and ranking of data without establishing the degree of variation between them. So, the ordinal represents the order, and the ordinal data is known as the qualitative data or categorical data. It can be grouped, named, and also ranked. So, this ordinal scale, it can be grouped, named, and also ranked. Now, the characteristics of the ordinal scale. The ordinal scale shows the relative ranking of the variables. So, how the variables are ranked, that is what we have in this ordinal scale. It identifies and describes the magnitude of a variable. For example, if I have to rank the goodness of a person, I cannot just measure it in numerical terms. So, I just say between 1 to 10, how do you rate the integrity of the person? So, between 1 to 10, if I say it is 9, then it means that the person of strong integrity. So, that is what we mean by this kind of a ordinal scale. Or how beautiful the rose is. Out of 1 to 10, so if I give 10, the rose is a very beautiful flower. Again, in case of singing, out of 1 to 10, if the person gets 10 marks, then it means that the person is absolutely good in singing. That is what we mean by ordinal ranking. So, along with the information provided by the nominal scale, ordinal scales give the rankings of those variables. So, when you have these scales, so it will give the rankings of those variables. The interval properties are not known. The surveyors can quickly analyze the degree of the agreement concerning the identified order of the variable. So, whenever we are given, we have to measure some qualitative aspects of the data, then usually this kind of a ordinal scale is used. Example, ranking of school students, first, second, third, etc. The ratings in the restaurant. So, evaluating the frequency of occurrences. So, for example, evaluating the frequency of occurrences here, they have 4 options here. If the person frequents a restaurant very often, often, not at all. So, out of these 4 options, so any one of the option can be given. So, this is what we mean by evaluating the frequency of occurrences. So, with this we call it as the ordinal scale. Then, assessing the degree of agreement. Suppose you have to just ask a question relating to any of the topics or any opinion about somebody. So, the person will be given 4 options. So, totally agree, neutral, disagree, totally disagree. So, when you give these 5 options, then the respondent can choose any one of the 5 options, and then each of these options, we have a counting for each of these options, and then the researcher will come to a conclusion whether there are maximum people who are agreeing with the situation, totally agree, neutral, disagree, and totally disagree. So, depending on the percentage of the responses, so you calculate the number of the responses, and then we come to a conclusion. So, this is ordinal scale. The next one is the interval scale. The interval scale is the 3rd level of measurement. It is defined as a quantitative measurement scale in which the difference between the 2 variables is meaningful. So, the interval scale, in this, the differences between the 2 variables is meaningful. In other words, the variables are measured in an exact manner, not as in a relative way in which the presence of 0 is arbitrary. So, here in this kind of an interval scale, the variables are measured in an exact manner. So, they will know exactly what is the measurement of the variable, and it is not as in a relative way. So, there is no chance for any assumption here. So, the definite numbers will be put here. So that is what we call as the interval scale. Next, the characteristics of interval scale. The interval scale is quantitative as it can quantify the difference between the values. So, whatever can be measured in a quantified terms, that can be measured in terms of the interval scale. So, it allows calculating the mean and median of the variables. So, when you are given the data in form of numerical terms, so then we can always use this interval scale to calculate the mean and the median of the variables. To understand the difference between the variables, you can subtract the values between the variables. The interval scale is the preferred scale in statistics as it helps to assign any numerical values to arbitrary assessment such as feelings, calendar types, etc. So, this kind of interval scale is most preferred in statistics. So, we have the class interval 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So, these kind of interval scales are mostly used in statistics to assess the frequency of the distribution, and it will assign numerical values to arbitrary assessments such as feelings, calendar types, etc. Then next, in this interval scale, we have the examples here. The first one is the Likert scale. The second one is the NPS, the Net Promoter Scale, and third one is the bipolar matrix table. Now, next we have the ratio scale. The ratio scale is the fourth level of measurement which is quantitative. It is the type of variable measurement scale and it allows researchers to compare the differences or intervals. The ratio scale has a unique feature. It possesses the character of origin or the 0 points. So, the ratio scale is the fourth level of measurement scale and which is quantitative. It allows researchers to compare the differences or the intervals, and it possesses the character of origin or the 0 points. Next, the characteristics of the ratio scale. It has a feature of absolute 0. It does not have negative numbers because of its 0 point feature. Now, this ratio scale, the number is, we have the feature of absolute 0 and then it does not have any negative points. It affords unique opportunities for statistical analysis. The variables can be orderly added, subtracted, multiplied, divided. Mean, median and mode can be calculated using the ratio scale. So, this is a very convenient scale where we can use all the statistical techniques to calculate the inference of the findings. So, you can calculate the mean, median, mode of this kind of a data. It has unique and useful properties. One such feature is it allows unit conversions like kilogram, calories, gram, calories, etc. Then, next, the example of ratio scale is, suppose the question asked is, what is your weight in kgs? So, you can write less than 55 kgs, 55 to 75, 75 to 85, 85 to 95, more than 95 kgs. So, in this kind of a ratio scale, you just mention the absolute numbers and then you can ask the question. So, in this way we can collect the data. The scaling technique is a method of placing the respondents in continuation of gradual change in pre-assigned values, symbols or numbers based on the features of a particular object as per the defined rules. So, all the scaling techniques are based on 4 pillars, that is order, description, distance and origin. So, this kind of a ratio scale, it is a method of placing the respondents in continuation of a gradual change in pre-assigned values. So, whatever the values will be assigned, so based on that you just have the data and you can have a statistical analysis of the data. With this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed it. Thank you.